Hi, I'm Zibby Owens, and you're listening to the award-winning podcast, Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. If you like this podcast, you will love my new anthology called Moms Don't Have Time to Have Kids. Check it out, and you'll hear from 49 authors about all sorts of things moms don't have time to do. All the authors have been on this podcast. Also, check out my TikTok with Zibby and Tracy, my other podcast, Sex Talk with Zibby and Tracy. Check out Moms Don't Have Time to Write on Medium. And of course, my new publishing company called Zibby Books. And now back to our daily author interview site and a quick hello from some of my kids. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Enjoy the show. Shelli Johannes is the author of Shine Like a Unicorn. She is the co-author of 9 books in the Love Science picture book series, including CC Love Science with Kimberly Durding. She is the author of Theo TheSaurus and her newest picture book, Shine Like a Unicorn. Shelli has also written teen novels under S.R. Johannes, including the Nature of Grace series and the critically acclaimed Untraceable, Rewired, and On the Bright Side. Shelli lives in Atlanta with her own pack of animals, a British husband, 2 kids, 1 bird, 1 fish, and 2 crazy golden doodles who hate vegetables. Welcome, Shelli. Thanks so much for coming on Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books to discuss Shine Like a Unicorn and also Theo TheSaurus, the dinosaur who loved big words.
Yes, thank you for having me.
But there are a lot of big words in the unicorn book also.
That is true. The unicorns do like big words.
And also, what was flossom? I think that was my favorite word.
You know, I saw that a long time ago. My daughter bought a shirt that said Flossom at some little cute boutique store in like a mountain town. And I was like, that's brilliant. Yeah. You know, so I'm sure people have said it before, but that was where I heard it.
Well, I hadn't heard it. And there was another word. Wait, hold on. I have to find it. And then I'll ask you to
Gosh, I hope it's not the one I can't pronounce.
No, wait, hold on. It was right above gobsmacked. Okay, well, I'll find it later. Anyway, why don't you tell everybody what Shine Like a Unicorn is really about and what inspired you to write it? I know you've written so many other books and you've mastered the whole CC Love Science, Libby Love Science genre. You've cornered the market. So why this book? Why this book after and why now?
Yeah, it's world domination.
World domination.
As you well know. Shine Like a Unicorn came about. It's a book that really is about celebrating yourself and celebrating standing out, trying to stand out in the crowd, not trying to hide and trying to just show off your best features. And this came about because my kids are always struggling to, stand out or be what everybody wants them to be. My daughter's a senior, my son's a freshman. And I always say when they go to school, do you, be brave, be bold, be you is kind of what I say whenever they leave the house. But my son had some bullying going on a few years ago, and he kept saying, I'm different than everyone else, and they're picking on me. And I used to always say, be a unicorn in a herd of horses. You don't want to be a horse. If someone walks up and sees a unicorn and a group of horses, they're going to go for the unicorn. So you just don't know that yet. So that was kind of where it started, was just that bullying and trying to help him see that the people who stand out, are going to possibly sometimes get picked on. And that's okay because they're different. So this was just a funny way of really a unicorn coming out saying, you know what, I stand out all the time. And here are the steps that you have to do to stand out and be yourself and be you. And don't hide yourself, be out there. So that was kind of where it came from.
I love that. That is so cool. Grandiloquent is the word, by the way. I finally found it.
That was the one I have a hard time pronouncing.
Yeah, grandiloquent. I love that. Is that actually a word?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry. Well, not that was even important, but I'm glad we sort of closed the loop on that. Well, I love how you have all these steps, right? It's not just it would be nice to be a unicorn, but this is let me transform you into a unicorn. And then you have this real feeling of accomplishment at the end, right?
Yeah. This is the secret steps that no one knows. And so Glitter Poop is coming in to let us know how he does it. And that if you only do these 9 steps, then you'll be a unicorn. By the end.
How come in You Do You and You Did It and all that, you're just using the letter U and not YOU? Just curious.
I don't know. It was just fun.
It is fun.
Different. Yeah. Just to spell out you just seems like a lot of letters to just get it across. So it just seems like it could be a banner. You do you.
Totally. I love it. Okay. What is your unicorn name? That's step 1, by the way, is choosing a unicorn name.
Yes. My unicorn name is in the back. I am Sassy Sparkle Pants.
Oh, it's in the back. Yeah. Did I miss it?
Well, it's
in your author description. I didn't even read it. I'm so unprepared.
How cute is that? Like Maddie Frost did those. She's a great illustrator. I love her art so much.
She's great.
And she is Spunky Happy Hooves.
Oh, I love that.
So that was her idea to kind of come up with our author bios.
Wow. Sassy Sparkle Pants. You can't really beat that. That's pretty good. I mean,
right? I thought so. I had to get sassy in there. I debated on Sparkle Pants for a while because I don't really wear sparkly pants, but I feel like I do.
The unicorn you does wear sparkle pants.
Yes. And I walk as if I wear sparkle pants.
That's awesome. I mean, it's an interesting question, right? Do you want your child to stand out in a crowd from day one? Is that the easiest path, or is it an essential path, or like?
Gosh, I don't think it's the easiest path. I just think that, some kids don't fit into that, I don't know what the mold is called, like the popular mold, the one that just gets it, that's just easy. They just make friends easily. They keep friends easily. For some reason, my kids have definitely struggled in that. And I don't know why. I think they seem a little bit older for their age. So I think sometimes they don't quite connect. Like, this is going to sound bad, the emotional intelligence. I don't think it's like, I'm not putting people down in like a, your, emotional intelligence isn't there, but I just think they think differently. And I always just want them to be proud of who they are. And I think someday it will pay off. I think that a lot of times the people who are different, later stand out, and the ones who aren't as different later blend in. And so I just didn't ever want them to feel bad about, who they were, and to actually celebrate it. Celebrate that you love science, celebrate that, that you're not into makeup, celebrate, that you love playing with earthworms more than makeup. So like, those are the kind of things that, I think we should celebrate our kids' differences, and we should encourage them to be different. Yes. We don't want them to be the same.
I love that. Because your earthworm holder is one day going to be like a Nobel winning scientist, right? That's what always happens, right?
Hopefully she's going to be a vet. She got accepted.
Oh, well, there you go. Oh, that's so great.
Yep. Just got accepted to the University of North Georgia. So she'll be going there.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. Wow, that's great. No, it's true. I mean, I used to think there was like a inverse correlation between popularity in 7th grade and long-term success, right? If you peak in 7th grade, that is not a good thing. I think you have to like slow and steady climb up, right? You don't want to peak too soon.
No, you always want to be going up.
You always want to be going up. Exactly.
And sometimes we go back to the reunions and, it's interesting to see how people end up, those people who were just like on top, in high school, maybe not so much anymore. Mm-hmm. So like, I think we take it too seriously when we're in that moment, but it's hard. I think in high school, we're forced together with people. Really, it's the only time in our life that we don't choose to be there, right? Like you choose a college, you choose your job, you choose your friends in college. And usually those are out of, I guess, things that you have in common. But in high school, you're forced to it's whoever you got lunch with that year. It's so sometimes you don't really fit in with that.
That's true.
Yeah.
What about Theo TheSaurus? How did that one come about? The dinosaur who loved big words.
It's funny. I don't know if you feel this way, but a lot of my books do come from my kids, even though they're older. Theo TheSaurus came about because my son, when he was a little bit younger, always tried to impress his teachers with big words. And so I would read, because I'm the editor, right? You're probably the editor in the house. So I'm the editor in the house. And I would read some of these words and say, did you look this word up? Because I'm not sure this is the context that this word should be used in. And he's like, teachers love big words. And so there was one day I was in the kitchen cooking, which is not normal. I don't cook often. So I was cooking and he was yelling. My son was yelling from the back saying, what's another word for happy? A bigger word for happy. And I was like, look at a thesaurus. He's like, a what? And I was like, a thesaurus. So we're screaming because in our house, we don't walk to the other room. We scream back and forth. So I'm screaming back and forth. A what? A thesaurus.
That's so weird. I've never heard that happening. I never scream at all, ever. Yeah, no, I don't even know. Quiet. Okay. Anyway, go on.
And he said, I said, a thesaurus. He said, what? I said, a thesaurus, as in the dinosaur, the saurus. And I thought, surely that's been done. Like, it was just that kind of thing. Like, oh, that's been done. There's no way someone hasn't done the dinosaur who loved big words as a thesaurus. And I just started looking it up and it had not been done. And so Theo also kind of, sticks out like a sore thumb. He's the only thesaurus in his class. No one's ever heard of a thesaurus. He has very peculiar, things that he does, that he eats, crudité, and they're like, ooh. So it also is really about a dinosaur trying to be himself and be accepted. And so I guess there's a little theme there.
I think so. Should I put my therapist hat,
It's probably
hat
all
on
about
for
me.
you? I mean, just
I probably need to get a couch.
Shelli, are you feeling like you're not accepted lately? Are you feeling a little bit on the
Yes.
outskirts of things?
Yeah, I'm feeling left out of a lot of things, evidently.
I feel like
You saved me like hundreds of dollars in therapy.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Sure, you can just replay this anytime.
Mhm.
It's fine. I feel like everybody's left out because what is even going on anymore, right? Like we're all stuck most of the time, and it seems like with the kids going back to school, maybe some life is going back somewhat, sort of cautiously, but I don't know. I don't know what everybody else is doing. I'm constantly like, everybody's probably out like doing stuff, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm in here doing these interviews all day, and I don't know. I guess I'm missing out too.
I'm not, but it's JOMO, right? Like the joy of missing out is what it's become.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm like, why is it whenever I'm out, I like can't wait to get back home? It's so sad. I mean, I enjoy it, but I'm like always really happy to get home. I think
you're like that relief. It's because right now there's a tension when you go out. It doesn't feel like. It feels like, I don't know, I just feel kind of like an agoraphobe, like looking who's too close, who's do this, who's not wearing a mask. So I get home, I'm like, mask off, like can just be myself again and don't have to be like slightly paranoid and on guard.
Well, I know you've already told me your story, but just in case this is the first time listeners are hearing from you, how did you end up becoming a children's book author?
Well, I've always written young adult, but the way I fell into picture books is CC Love Science was, my first picture book with Kimberly Durding. And my daughter, who was much younger then, probably 9 or 10, had always done science camp. And she came home one day and I said, "Are you excited about science camp, next week?" And she said, "No, not really." And this was someone who, like I said, earthworms, outside in the yard, while girls are standing in a circle, talking about fashion, she's trying to catch a frog. Like it's just, and so she always loved science. And she said, "No, not this year." And she's like, "Science is for boys." And I immediately just got this picture of this little girl who was just like, "Science is not for boys." And I thought, I wonder if I could do a fancy Nancy for science. Like it's nice to teach our kids to love pink and to be fancy, but why are we not teaching our girls to love science and be smart and fancy, or fancy smart, however you want to put it together. So that was kind of what kicked off that series. And Kim, who had studied biology, we were like, let's write this book together. So that was kind of how it started. And now somehow I am down like a picture book track, which was not my intention. I mean, my intention, and hopefully at some point I would love to do a YA, like a young adult book. But yeah, so I love picture books and I love talking with the kids when they're that age, and getting letters from them. Like, I didn't think science was for girls either until you came.
Aww.
I know. And you're just like, okay, that's it. I touched one person. Like
what if that one person develops a cure for some disease because all of a sudden they realize that this is something that can be accessible to them because of this book? I mean, how powerful is that?
And I think I might have talked about this with you before, but I think what scared me the most was that someone, because it wasn't, my husband has a PhD in topography and I love science. I do a lot of conservation efforts in Atlanta. So I couldn't figure out how does someone like that get that message? So it kind of made me realize that I think we underestimate these young kids, like how much they absorb. They're like little sponges. And these messages sneak in that aren't necessarily messages that their teachers give. I know teachers aren't saying science is for boys. I'm not saying that. So where did she get that message that was so strong that within a short period of time, she had gone from loving science to science is for boys? That seems like that would be a big message somewhere, like a bullet, like a big billboard or something. Where did that come from? So I started realizing, we can really make an impression on these kids at a very young age and, help them think about the things that are important. I think we kind of focus on teens and we forget that, those 5, 6, 7-year-olds are just looking for, they're out there seeking answers and asking questions. And that was kind of what we loved about that CC Love Science series.
That's awesome. I love it. As I've told you, my kids loved it. Still love it. I just interviewed this author named Meg Cabot who writes sort of rom-coms and stuff. And in her...
Oh, who's Meg Cabot? I've never heard of her.
Okay, fine. Okay. Well,
Please, Princess Diaries, yeah.
Princess Diaries. Yes, Princess Diaries. Not everybody knows. Anyway, point is...
Really?
You think everybody knows? I mean, who knows? I don't know. Maybe somebody's listening right now who just like... Maybe it's a child listening who loves your picture books. Who knows? Anyway, now what was I even saying about Meg Cabot? Oh, because she's a YA. She's like not even YA. She's like a middle grade graphic novel type author, like of a Dogman series-ish. And people are always telling the character in the book, I used to love your books. And she's like, that sounds bad. Well, I don't want people to have liked my books. And like the person that she hangs out with, the other author, they're always like, your books are amazing. And I used to like your books. So anyway, that made me, when I said that to you, I wanted to, bite my tongue. They used to like your books. They still love your books, but used to read them more often, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so what picture books or what's on the horizon? You must have so much other stuff coming.
I do. It's been like, it's hard because as a writer, I think I spent 15 years, just rejection. I self-published some books that got rejected and they sold a lot of copies, but I still, wanted to break in. And then all of a sudden, you get lucky, you hit something at the right time and then some things happen, but I don't take that for granted. Right. So that's, each book is like special and I don't expect another one. It's just each one that comes in, I love and it's the right time and I hope it makes a difference, but I'm not expecting anything else because I think this business is hard. But we do have some more. We have 3 more Love Science I Can Reads coming out. So that's great. We've got Vivi Loves Science, Sink or Swim, which is coming out in February. I have another Theo book coming out. Theo finds the perfect pet. So he finds a pet that is maybe not so perfect, and he has to figure out how to communicate with this pet that he doesn't really know much about. And then Kim and I just announced that next fall, we have Penny, the engineering tale of the fourth pig. So Penny is the younger sister of the 3 little pigs, and she comes home to help them rebuild, but the wolf returns. And so she decides to help them out in a different way.
Love it.
So yeah. So that's kind of what's on the horizon.
That's great. How fun.
I know.
Did you ever think, like when you were a kid reading picture books, that this is where you might end up? Or did you?
Oh, I don't even think I thought that authors were real. Like I thought someone was just, in a warehouse somewhere cranking these things out under different people's names. Like, I don't know if I ever thought there was a person sitting behind a desk creating a story, when I was reading Babysitter's Club or Nancy Drew. Did you? I don't know if. I never thought of it,
I used to write authors letters and sometimes they wrote me back. And so I kind of knew they weren't computers, but.
And this was before computers. So I was obviously advanced.
No, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said computers. No, I got my first computer and I was like 8 or 9 or something like that. It was like the biggest deal. And my grandmother ruined the surprise by calling first thing and being like, do you like your new computer? And my mother was like, ah.
You're like, I thought that was a TV.
Yeah, exactly. It was like
because they were so big.
100, feet wide or whatever it was.
I always read, but I don't know if I ever thought about who was behind the book.
Yeah,
I guess.
No, I get.
Yeah.
And what do you like to read? Like when you're not writing picture books, what are some of your go-to books that you read for fun? Assuming you do.
Well, I follow your book club, so I try to read as many.
And you come armed with quotes every time, which I can't thank you enough for. That's amazing.
Armed with quotes, because they just kind of some of them just call out to me. And this week is The Plot, right? Is that the one this coming week? Yeah. So I just finished that, and right now I'm reading The Husbands by Chandler Baker. And I try to read a YA too. So I'm also reading Lore by Alexander Bracken. Very mythological.
Interesting
book. Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent.
What are you reading?
What am I reading?
Yeah. You're probably way down. You're like 6 months down the road, right?
Well, no, I mean, I'm behind actually. Some books I'm okay, but some books, like I just did a book today that came out in May and the person's already has a new book coming out. And I'm like, oh, I prepared the wrong book. But anyway, Mira Jacob, I did her today, A Memoir in Conversations. It's a graphic novel like for grownups. And I don't usually like graphic novel, but it's like she drew these pictures and then put them over photography. Anyway, it's really.
That's great. So she did the art too?
She did the art. Yep.
Oh, that's great.
But it's really cool about like parenting and race, and she's Indian, married a Jewish guy, and anyway, really off topic now, but I happen to love this book. But it's very different, but I like different. So,
Yeah, I like how it bounces around. Yeah. Especially with your book club. I love how it mixes it up a little bit.
Yeah. Nobody wants to get bored reading all the same stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, amazing. Thank you so much. Theo TheSaurus, the dinosaur who loved big words and shine like a unicorn. I will try to shine a little extra today on this very tired, feeling non-shiny day for me.
And by the way, let me give a shout out to the illustrators because Maddie Frost is the illustrator on Shine Like a Unicorn, and how adorable is her art.
I mean, love it. Totally love it. Adorable. This feels like it should be a picture. The cover looks like should be like framed on a kid's wall. You know what I mean? All these.
Yeah. Well, we made some posters because we're going to do some like little anti-bullying, like be a don't be a bully, be a unicorn.
Love it.
And then Theo TheSaurus is Mike Moran. And I mean, it's so fun. We've got some virtual visits and stuff coming up in September and October, but it's so fun to watch them draw because they're very simple shapes. And as they're drawing, I'm like, I could totally be an illustrator. Like, and then he holds up his or she holds up hers and I hold up mine. And it's clearly different, but I did the same shapes they did, but it's definitely not in me. So the illustrators are a huge part. And Joelle Murray is our illustrator, our newest illustrator for the CC Love Science series. And she's great. So shout out to the illustrators. Without them, these books wouldn't be, right?
It's true. I tried to do a drawing class, like an Instagram live drawing thing during the pandemic at one point. And like, even with these very specific instructions, I held up at the end was not at all what it should have been.
I know, it's amazing. I don't know where I went wrong. I was like, I did the oval, I did the triangle. It just somehow ended up a blob. I don't know how my shapes are ending up blobby.
But you know what, Shelli? You do you.
Yes, you do you.
Okay. That's the new thing. We don't have to be artists. We can paint pictures with words instead. So.
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on again. And
yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to this episode of Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Zibby Owens and at Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. Also sign up for my newsletter at zibbyowens.com and sign up for my virtual book club and meet lots of authors on Zoom every other week. Thanks so much to Steve and Ryan at Texture Sound for the sound editing. And thank you to Morning Moon Productions for providing this fantastic intro and outro music.